Hello, Sasha!
Hey, Jeffrey.
Hallelujah.
Oh, water, right?
It's raining on it's raining on us.
In the office, right? Hey,
Okay.
Jeffrey.
It's been a couple of weeks now. A lot has happened. We have a new president in 2 months, hopefully. Hopefully, but in the meantime, the insanity continues just as bad. No, it's probably even worse than before the election. So, but Biden did very well.
And he does everything what we talked about,
Yeah.
like in the past. So he does almost like he listens to us and he does right things.
And then he stays off of Twitter. That's already fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, just to have if they would have smashed Trump's cell phone 4 years ago, he might have been a decent president.
And that's a good point. All politicians are on Twitter. And what they do, they actually tweet the news. So we don't have any more like reporters. We have like...
But the difference is that most people who go on Twitter try to tweet, first of all, the truth and the news. Trump only tweets lies and insults. He's basically turned the presidency into worldwide wrestling.
Okay, so but other congressmen, congresswomen, women, they tweet what's going on, who said what, and I think it's actually wrong for Congress people to tweet something like rumors or things what's going on instead of just tweeting about the law they propose, things that they try to communicate with people.
I think the whole government should be illegal for anyone in the government to use Twitter. In fact, it should be illegal for anyone in the government to use social media.
Absolutely.
I mean, the social media, like they were talking about, oh, the Russians are doing this. The Russians didn't do anything. The people who actually caused the most problems
our government, our media,
was actually the Republican Party and the Trump organization.
Not just Republican,
but
but
mainly Trump. They've been using social media totally to subvert the election, to come up with all kinds of conspiracy theories, and then it's been a disaster. But let's talk about what's happening now, because that for me is more
what's
important.
going on now.
Well, first of all, you've got this moron Giuliani, who's still trying to make lawsuits all over the place, totally bogus. I think Trump is eventually going to have to. He won't concede, but he'll say, "Okay, I didn't win, but I didn't lose." He'll come up with something. My opinion is the only reason that this is going on the way it's going now is he's collecting so much money. He's getting all these people
to pay down the debt to the...
the debt is part of it, but he's having all these people pay into the campaign
debt.
But most of it is not going to pay the campaign debt. Most of it, if you've been reading, is going to his own organization for supposedly, basically
reimbursement.
Basically, he's ripping off the public. He's lying to them as a complete fraud. It's the same thing. Like it's exactly the same as what's his name? The guy who worked for him, the crazy guy, with the hair. They arrested him on a yacht.
Steve Bannon?
Steve Bannon, just like Steve Bannon, who created this bogus organization to build the wall and pocketed all the money. And Trump and the Trump family are doing the same thing.
Let's switch because what happens, like if I wouldn't care about what he does if he just like say, okay, I lost. Or even don't say the word lost. Just transition. Let Biden team to start doing something.
I just wanted to say 2 words. Bye-bye.
And you see, Jeffrey, you represent almost left Democrats.
No, that's not true.
Okay, tell us the truth.
I am absolutely middle of the road.
I didn't notice.
I believe left is a disaster. I believe right is a horrendous disaster.
Oh my God!
But for me, the most important thing is I hope that these 2 senators from senator candidates from Georgia win, because my feeling is that Mitch McConnell stays head of the Senate, and this country is going to have 4 years of total insanity.
Yeah,
he's so much worse than Trump. in my opinion. He's a disaster. He's owned,
The
he's
Republican Party is a disaster right
not
now.
on his level.
Yeah, but again, level, who cares the level if the leader of your party is insane? Basically, he works for himself. He does things.
He's corrupt.
He's corrupt in his mind. He does things for his mind. And people around, Republicans, they should we should be talking about issues, not the personality. I'm tired of are you for Trump or against Trump? What? Go ahead.
The most amazing thing, I can't believe that now that the election's over, that these Republicans are afraid of Trump. What can he do?
Okay,
What
no,
can he do
let
to
me
them?
just explain. I'm here to answer. So
Excuse me, I've been carving a bow this day. I've got all this wood dust in my lungs.
Jeffrey, nobody
it's
cares.
not COVID,
Nobody
it's
cares.
wood dust.
Nobody cares.
That's what happens.
Does.
That's what happens when you carve with a Dremel.
So they're not afraid. But the reality is, people like Trump. They like what he says. They like how he says it, and they feel that he represents them. And I will talk later about this, but I want to just say why Republicans still sticking to Trump. They checking their social media, and they see what their representatives want from them. So that's.
I was sailing yesterday on my boat.
No way.
And and there was some big yacht going down the channel with an American Trump flag hanging off the back of the boat. Because the people who are really want Trump in are all these rich people who are making unbelievable money because of Trump. But everybody else, the average person, you've got two choices. You're either going to go broke, you're going to get evicted, or you're going to die from the virus.
Again, die.
Yeah, well, yeah.
5%.
You're right. It's 5%, but the difference is, it'd be one thing if it's 5% of 2,000 people or 3,000 people getting the virus every day. But when it's 175,000 people getting the virus every day, 5% is a lot of dead people.
Yes, I agree. Well, my point is this. I want to kind of steer away. Not everybody is going to die. But of course, it's even one person is too many.
Yeah, but even the people who get sick. The problem is the hospitals are in big trouble. But the worst places, for the people who are having the biggest problems with the virus, are all the places where Trump did the rallies.
And also, let's talk about that. Trump actually succeeding with the middle states, with all central states. And you remember my conversation about 2 months ago when I told you all the states I was passing by, 15 states, they for Trump, and you told me no.
But those are all the redneck states.
and
of course they're for Trump.
Yeah, but it wasn't the conversation 2 months ago.
That's where when you go to Idaho and Iowa and places like that, that's where all these crazy militias are.
And let me just tell, this is the point. Democratic Party went too far left because every time they're talking about Black Lives Matters, they're talking about minorities, they're talking about giving something to students, giving something to, again, minorities. But people also, in those middle states, they're living in poverty. They want to hear the representation, and Trump is giving them that representation.
Except that he's offering them nothing.
Agree.
He's offering them nothing. Biden is actually offering solutions for these people, and these people are still behind Trump. It makes no sense.
Right? No, it makes sense because rhetoric makes sense, because whenever you're talking about all the time, we have to pay students' debt. We have to pay for, again, minorities. People in the middle states, they feel bad, not because of that. They struggle, they have to work hard as everybody, but what they want to hear, somebody cares about them. And if even though Trump doesn't say, "Listen, I will do something for you," he's just basically fighting Democrats. That it shouldn't be just minorities. It shouldn't be just about black people. It shouldn't be just so they feel that Trump representing them.
Except that
He doesn't.
Trump has not suggested one single policy that will help the average American. Not one.
Standing ovations.
What he has done is he showed how all these people will lose every kind of health care. What he showed is that, they're all going to wind up getting screwed in taxes. The rich people, no, but the average person, yes. So
let me, about taxes, you're not correct, but everything else is correct, because in taxes, Trump did smart thing. What he did, he cut taxes for everybody, big corporation, small corporation, so nobody can complain. The only person or body should complain, it's a national budget. We got nothing because we cut the taxes, and now we have to pay for military, we have to pay for everything, and we have no money. So go ahead.
Okay, now next subject. I think I would love to hear your opinions on this. Is that he fired the defense secretary. He brought in 3 of the most incompetent people who are not capable of running an orange juice stand. And these people, I believe,
Orange juice stand.
Yeah, but I
okay.
but I believe, in my opinion, the reason he's doing this is so if he decided to try to accomplish a coup, there's nobody who will go against him, because all the people who are in control and to try to get the U.S. military, to actually back him. Luckily, the main general who controls this has already said that's not going to happen. We just hope it stays that way. The other thing I was worried about is that he's going to try to get all these Republican states. Instead of following the election, they're going to hire their own electors and then tell them, forget the election, just vote for Trump. In which case, all the electoral college will all be subverted. I don't think that's possible, because I know that the Supreme Court passed a law where that's supposedly not possible. And I saw on television today that if there are some rogue electors that try to do that, they can be prosecuted.
Yeah, but like with Trump, this is like he pushes. This is what's about Trump. He pushes the system to the limits, to big limits, and we don't see where it ends. We thought like, oh, this will be end of Trump. No, he pushes another limit. He finds limit after limit.
I believe that everything he's doing now, I'm sure he knows damn well that he's lost. And we have an expression when I lived in Europe, whenever you see something that's not real, everybody says, oh, that's cinema. And I think what we're watching now is the Trump show. And it's all about...
You just realized that.
No, but in a big way. But because it's all about trying to make as much money as possible, trying to keep the Biden government, now listen to this, trying to keep the Biden people out of the government long enough so they can destroy every record of their administration, which I believe totally. There's probably more papers and more crap being shredded right now, so that when the Biden people come in, they can't see what all the illegal things that Trump did over 4 years.
You've given too much credit to Trump administration. There is no papers. No.
With Trump, that's for sure. Because first of all, the one guy came on television today, and I believe him completely. The one advantage we have with Trump is he doesn't read. Second of all, he never goes to intelligence briefings. The only thing, Trump's whole administration is basically, sitting in the White House watching Fox News 29 hours a day.
It's just incredible.
But because of that, they're all saying that Trump can start, selling secrets, United States secrets and things like that, for big money, so that he can pay off his debts. He actually owes. I was reading an article today. People came out. He probably owes, at least $1 to $1.5 billion in debt, with loans that he personally signed.
Jeffrey, it's all speculations. Yeah, but it's all speculations. New York Times. I watched I went like to New York Times and just watched their review about Trump taxes, because they claim they have 20 years of taxes of income taxes for Trump, for Trump's, and they worked 4 years monitoring, doing something with Trump taxes. 4 years. I need maybe, I don't know, like for maybe an hour just to thoroughly to see what's going on, maybe less, and then of course, like to determine what needs to be like how. Go ahead, you're laughing.
Why do you think he's playing golf every day?
I don't know. Tell me.
Because every time he plays golf, the Trump organization makes a
Money.
boatload of money for the golf clubs to bring everybody there. Everything, and the government's paying for all of this. But every time he goes to the golf course, the Trump organization makes money. And right now, he's got to make as much as possible, because I'm sure his hotels are not doing well. I'm sure most of his businesses are dying like everybody else in this pandemic.
But we talked about Trump.
So he has to cheat.
Yeah. You see, we're coming back every time about Trump. I don't care anymore. I mean, I have to, but let's talk about the policies. Democrats lost so many seats in the House. They
lost a few.
Yeah, but it's telling when the president was elected, a different party, but you losing seats. It tells you they don't trust you. So and this is
okay. I agree with you, but there's you would have to go seat by seat to discover the reasons, because a lot of the seats, the candidates that the Democrats were running were terrible. And so some of them lost because they were bad. Some of them lost because of obviously the whole organization and a lot of fake news and things like that. Plus Trump was doing the Trump organization was doing amazing things on Facebook, because I read a whole story about that. In Florida, one of the reasons they were able to get Florida is that the Trump organization were putting up the craziest stories in Spanish, and Facebook doesn't have people who speak Spanish.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's true.
They speak Hebrew.
But they didn't have Spanish speakers, and because of that, they couldn't edit. They couldn't
fast enough or something.
Yeah, no, they couldn't control it. Russia couldn't have done the job that the Trump people did in Florida. They did. The Trump people really. So they got all the Hispanics in Florida, Venezuela, and Guatemala, and mostly Cubans. Because I grew up in Florida. And I had so many close Cuban friends and things like that. But I was there when people were coming over on boats. My father's business, the whole factory was basically Cubans. So anyway, we'll have to see what happens. I do believe that a lot of what Trump's doing is also trying to find as many ways to make money so that he can pay his legal bills to stay out of jail once he's out of office.
It's a different story. I think like he will be ending up in jail.
No, he's in big trouble. The main thing is that the one good thing that Biden has is that Trump passed almost no bills. The whole he got nothing really done.
Let's back.
Everything was executive orders.
Right, bills. He passed bills. He passed executive orders.
Yeah,
and now Biden has to undo them.
Yeah, but you can undo executive orders just
fast. Yeah.
But luckily, Trump basically ran an autocratic presidency and did everything by executive
that's
order.
What I want to
That's
talk
an
about.
advantage for Biden.
That's not just disadvantage for country, because country people don't understand. Let me just review Trump's president's accomplishments, and this is more for people who Trumping Trump. So he came he started his presentation for the president. He started that he knows everything, and I quote in my book him. Trump is a patient who knows where it hurts, but he's not a doctor who knows how to cure. And what he did, he said exactly right things to people. He said, listen, we're very bad in transportation, in technology we're good, but as infrastructure, he showed us, not he showed us, but he compared us to China, whereas like he went into China and he saw so much development. So people kind of felt that he knows what he's talking about. They felt that he knew how to guide us and where to guide us. To defeat Hillary Clinton, it was very, very tough job. She was extremely popular, and I think she could be the best president ever. She couldn't. Her problem was she couldn't level with people. She couldn't just relax and talk about herself, her accomplishments.
You know, speaking about that, I almost wonder what would have happened if she would have contested the last election instead of just,
she contested, like I think on a November 13, they came back and congratulate Trump. Obama said, like, what can I do for you? So let's move on. So Trump comes, he defeats all that nominees for president from his party. Nobody could withstand to Trump. Why? Because the party, Republican Party, that didn't have any ideas what to bring to people, how to sell their vision for the country.
Yeah, and Trump didn't have to sell anything. He just had to do his reality show, insult show, and these people have never had to deal with something like that before.
Jeffrey,
that's not part of the normal politics.
Let me just a little bit disagree. Yeah. Contrarily, he brought the idea, let's make America great again. This is a dump. This is like all bad. He like all comedians, they see something wrong, and he would take something wrong and make a caricature of that something wrong. Nothing wrong with you, so like no worries. And he showed everybody that we have bad airports, that we have like people all like politicians are bad. And fast forward, he still thinks he's outsider doing the biggest politician work in the whole world.
The only thing is that he didn't have one single cure for any of those complaints.
Exactly, because he's a patient who knows where it hurts, but he doesn't know how to cure. So he said like about Mexico, the wall between Mexico, he didn't bring you a solution for illegal immigration. He brought you a wall. You can go to Home Depot and just like do like with this thing, like you can cut that.
You buy a $15 drill, gets you right through the wall.
It's just like, it's unbelievable, and people still thinking he did something. So first, in the first day, and everybody's saying like, from the Fox News channel, from day one, Democrats went after Donald Trump. Nobody went, he called for himself. Nobody asked him to fire Comey. What is his name?
Comey.
But first name, James Comey?
Yeah, whatever.
Nobody asked it, like, why would you fire a guy who tells I'm running investigation on you? And if you're just honest person, you say, listen, I want you to be very fair, and if you need like any attention from my place wherever it is, I will give you attorney, and let's do it civil, let's do it nice. He just said like, if you're not loyal to me, I will fire you, and he fires Comey, James Comey, I think. So now
that was the dumbest thing he ever did in his life. If anything, he should have given Comey his own cabinet post, because Comey got him elected.
That's true, but again, Trump. You see, you give Trump too much credit. He's thinking, he's doing this, he's doing that. He just destroying everything. He's putting chaos, and people. Like, if you remember how he started.
For me, just to For me, Trump it's like watching Demolition Derby.
Exactly.
The only thing he does is he comes in with a wrecking ball and he just makes such chaos and such insanity that so he can dominate the news. Let's face it, the real story of Trump, the only thing that matters to Trump from the minute he gets up, in fact, the guy never sleeps.
How do you know?
The only thing that matters to him is that every time you turn on the television or read a newspaper, the first thing you see is Trump's picture. And that's the only thing that matters to him.
But okay,
he wants to dominate.
But
everybody
it's
has
not,
to be talking about
just,
him.
Jeff, it's just why? Because news are making money on his tweets, on his appearances, on his controversy. That's what keeps the news going. They need controversy. They need the feeds. But anyways, so Trump called upon himself firing Comey, this Russian investigation. Otherwise, Democrats wouldn't suggest to bring an outside counsel to oversee what is going on. So that started. And then, go ahead.
Anyway, look, the history of what happened is pretty, we all know it, I think. To spend good time now to discuss what happened at the beginning of the administration.
I just my point is this, I want to show people, because I'm like communicating with my friends. Most of them, they supporting Trump, and I respect that. My point, I cannot answer everybody individually. They think that Trump did something. They still do. And that's why I'm just saying, like, I want to chronologically go that he didn't do anything. So I'm going to be very fast.
Okay.
So he started, he fired the Comey, he created that Russian, he created the Russian investigation. Nobody cared about that until we say, like, on a thief, even the head is burning. So he, like, you're thinking, like, oh, it's burning, it's my head because you're a thief. So he acted as a thief and the head was burning on his head. So he fired Comey investigation. So first thing, he promised to people that he fix the healthcare. It never happened. What he did, he created some kind of like healthcare program where the difference was with Obamacare that not the government would be overseeing payments to patients, people, but it will be shifted to the states. What it would do, the state would get like a certain amount of money per person, and they would be restrained to give the patients more than they have the budget for. So even Republicans said, like, no, this is bad idea. This is even worse than anything. So healthcare didn't pass. Nobody for 4 years, nobody from Trump administration, from Republican, nobody gave anything for the problem number one in our country. Next, he said, because this didn't work, he came up with the tax reform. We didn't need the tax reform because we needed, like, maybe there are some loopholes, there are something to fix. We didn't need to do tax cuts when the economy was going up. We had a huge recession at the Obama years, and the economy was slowly going. We didn't need the economy running on whole steams. He accelerated the economy. They did the tax cuts. So what happened? People and their companies got more money. What you're gonna do as a person with more money? You buy things. You buy chairs. You buy
Bugattis, Ferraris.
Bugatti, Ferraris, it's kind of okay, but you buy,
companies.
but you buy, like, everything in this office made in China. So you either spend for some gadgets, telephones, and we didn't make America great again. We made China great again. Nothing wrong to make China great again, but not for our expense. We didn't need tariff wars.
Okay. Now go on. The next disaster, in my opinion, was this whole thing about tariffs. The
Tariffs.
tariffs for me basically destroyed Trump.
It's no. This
Yeah,
again.
because all of the people that he supposedly represents in the Midwest and things like that, the farmers.
Jeffrey, let me just
it
enlighten
didn't
you.
work.
Let me enlighten you. It didn't work, but they don't understand what Trump did. Farmers who and I have a client, my friend, actually he's local fisherman. Their business is and was actually was like this. They were selling lobster to China, and actually West Coast lobsters are actually the meat is a little bit more reddish. It's more expensive, more tasty, more sugary, and Chinese people would pay $15 a pound for lobsters because, for one, this is a huge territory for West Coast ocean because you have to go from reef to catch lobsters, and it's expensive going. The cost is about.
I'm a diver. I've actually hunted them, so I know.
Okay, so it's $4 to $5 a pound. It's actually the cost. So China would buy because they somehow religious about red meat, and the bottom line, they were buying our lobsters the same as they buying our crops. Like maybe I don't know what they buy. Like they buy some agricultural things from our country. So when Trump hit the tariff war, my friend left without the business. And many fishermen in the West Coast were left with nothing because they can sell on a local market the same lobsters for $5, maybe $4 per pound. So, and but people you're talking about farmers, they got subsidies. They got government funds because they couldn't sell to China, so they know.
But so many farms went. All the small farms went bankrupt, and they were bought out by the big farming conglomerates.
It's different, yeah, but it's different. It's different that they didn't feel that they lost the business. They got payments. People talking about socialism from left. This is socialism. You cut your tariff war on a personal level, not for the business. You do something for some kind of personal reasons. Unbelievable. China making advantage of us. Okay, let's see this.
And of course, the other side.
Let me do.
But the other side of the coin is that China doesn't pay the tariffs. We do.
Yeah, but it started that China takes advantage of us, and it was just like people in China work for about $5 a day. This is their wages. And the things that we got, like all this in around office where you sit, they're so cheap because we're getting from the factories where people just underpaid dramatically compared to us. So they steal our somehow know-how. So fight that. Don't fight everything else. Just fight the problem. Don't make problems. But people thinking Trump is on their side. This is the key. It's always they think that Trump fighting for them.
Okay. We only have a limited amount of time.
Okay.
So the next question is, you have to throw in, then comes the pandemic and COVID. So now the whole, everything that he was doing supposedly well, or the mirage of doing everything well, all of a sudden, just hits rock bottom because he's just deniability.
There was nothing there.
Deniability. Not doing just basic things that try to keep us alive until there's a vaccine, which is what Biden's doing and what the governors are doing and things like that. Just say, if we do this, we'll survive until we have a vaccine.
Or most of our people will survive.
Yeah, but he says no. Everybody, just and then it turns out one of the worst places to be. The worst place you could
around the
possibly
president
was in the White House. The whole damn White House is infected. In fact, when Biden goes into the White House, they're going to have to, before he can even go in the White House, they're going to have to spend 2 weeks to disinfecting the Resolute desk.
And Jeffrey, listen, like so many people talking about Trump and Biden be socialist and this and that, and socialism doesn't work. Biden and socialism doesn't work, but they say Biden is the socialist who sits in a bunker. He doesn't do things, but nobody realize that Biden, if he sit in a bunker doing business from the bunker, won the election, he reached more people sitting at the bunker. He didn't get his people around him infected. So based even on that, you have to elect Biden that he knows how to guide his people who trust him to win and not to die.
Well, the other thing is Biden was smart. Instead of going out and having rallies and things like that, he had an amazing team of people that went out and knocked on doors.
Not just smart.
And Trump,
it's
in the meantime, was
being,
going around basically infecting everybody who liked him.
It's just like there is no comparison of thinking between Trump and Biden. Biden cares about people, and Trump says he cares, but he doesn't. He just cares everywhere. It's a chaos. It's a chaos, and he started like saying strange things. If you remember, he was tweeting something, and people started explaining what he said, what he tweeted, and then no, he meant this, and he tweeted something else, and everybody's trying to make sense. And now everybody says, but it's our Trump. We know that he has a different approach. Like, okay, what kind of approach?
He's never read a book. He couldn't even tell you what the first line of the Constitution is.
Jeffrey, I wouldn't go, like, for me personally, I don't know, does he read books? Does he, like...
He doesn't.
Yeah, but it's, I care what he did.
He doesn't read the intelligence reports. That was pretty dumb.
I'm like at the end of his presidency, I wanna just make a summary. He didn't do any major things for anybody. He destroyed tax code because it's so complicated. I do income taxes. It's damn complicated now. Just please, please. and the worst part is that it's already embedded. And it's hard to change it.
For me, the worst thing is that all the department heads, the Secretary of Education, this Betsy DeVos, a moron. Pompeo, terrible. He's completely destroyed the State Department. All the good people, but all the good people that were in the administration were fired or they quit. And now there's nobody left. The rules to work for Trump, you have to kiss his ass. And if you don't kiss it exactly the way he likes, you're out. It's terrible. Remember we talked early on about the Peter Principle. With the Peter Principle, where one rises in the level of an organization until he reaches his level of incompetence. Trump started at his level of incompetence, and then he had to get everybody under him, below him. Otherwise,
instead of being fired himself.
Otherwise, they're too smart. Yeah, exactly, they're too smart for him. So the average level of intelligence just kept contracting.
Go ahead.
One thing I know about Biden: the day he starts, the State Department will be restored. The intelligence departments will be restored. The Department of Education will finally be a real Department of Education because Biden believes in public schools and Betsy DeVos doesn't want to give one penny to them. She only wants private schools to survive. It's just one horrible thing after another.
Let me just weigh on Trump with the kissing his butt, right? This is very important. This was like for my first 25, 26 years of my life. This is like all what it was in Soviet Union. Every time, like even did you see like structures, like if you went like to St. Petersburg to Kiev, Lenin doing like this.
Yeah.
Do you know what it is? He shows the way where to go.
Oh, that I didn't know.
Okay, now you know. And why? Because everybody in my youth, like childhood, everybody would talk about our president as the only one who knows where to go, and this is part of this brainwashing machine, that only Trump now he knows what to do. Thank you, Mr. Trump, for allowing us. Go ahead.
The interesting thing is that I've been hearing like, over the last couple of days, the person that they're comparing Trump to, who basically had the same problems that Trump had.
Okay.
He was also a public, a media person, and then eventually he did the same thing. He owed a ton of money, and then he got into this thing, and then he started the same thing with the fake press and everything else. Mussolini. They're really they're comparing Trump. They say he's the modern day Mussolini.
Yeah, but like again, like,
and he's doing things in the same method that
Mussolini was a very bad dictator, and he was like a Hitler, and he was killing people. So like to compare to Mussolini, it's just like people will not understand properly. I just want to be like what I see. This is like Soviet Union all over again. Thank you, Mr. President. We didn't know what to do without you. Thank you for your guidelines. Yesterday, or day before yesterday, in Rose Garden, like on a press conference, the guys from pharma industry, they thank you, Mr. Trump, for your enlightenment. Or what did he do to you to enlighten you to like with the help with vaccine? What did he like give you an idea of vaccine suddenly? What did he do? And this is like so for me I'm laughing, but this is like a laugh with tears, because are you so stupid to even say that, how low you can feel or be to go ahead.
No, he doesn't do anything unless he's making a vaccine out of Clorox.
Yeah, but every time they thanking him for his vision, and like, okay, what did you do? What did he offer for fighting the COVID-19? What his guidelines? What did he do as on a federal level to organize all the states, to bring to uniform fighting kind of like rules? There is nothing. He wasn't ever a leader or the manager.
And the terrible thing is he could have done all of this so easily.
Just like one say, like
so easily, and been one of the most famous people in the world. He could have walked away with everything if he would have only done the logical things, to do things that are basically right.
Even
Biden, he's incredibly logical, he's incredibly smart, and he's got 50 years of experience in government on every position, from Congress to Senate to Vice President.
Jeffrey, I want to say, I'm not sure Biden is smart or not, but he's done, this is a political work. To be a president, please like think about that. And this is like, I will be very like kind of strange to tell you, like if you go to dentist, you want a dentist to perform your like work on your teeth. If you go like to income tax preparer, you want an income tax preparer, not Trump doing all of that for you. So Biden, I don't know, is he smart or not? I didn't play chess with the guy, or I don't know, but he is a politician. He knows how to manage. He's a manager. He doesn't have to do things. He just say like, listen, I wanna like appoint a team. Done. I don't wanna be in the middle of the team. I don't need to be. Hold on. This is the main point.
Competent people.
Yeah, but he doesn't have to be in the middle. Thank you, Mr. President, that you appoint us. Thank you, Mr. President, that you told us what to do. This is so ridiculous, people. This is so crazy. And Biden just simple, like, hey guys, just do this, like you know what to do. Let me just organize something else on education level, on taxation level, and please don't thank me. Let's do our jobs.
Okay. we've gotten a lot done here. So the question now, obviously, I hope that this guy will finally, like bend backwards and in the next week and let Biden's team, start getting start working with the team, with Trump's team, and getting all the security information and things like that. This is really dangerous. The most dangerous time in the United States ever is between administrations. That's when foreign governments and when things can go wrong. That's when the World Trade Center was hit. It's because Bush had to wait 30 days to get his security people in place, and then it wasn't enough time. Luckily, in the case of Biden has already been in that situation. He knows the complete workings of the White House and everything, and how an administration has to work. So we have an advantage there. We're not getting somebody coming in who was a governor or something like that. We're getting somebody who knows how a White House
what to do,
works.
and from the day one, Biden.
But still, he should. As soon as they called the election for him, they should have already had his people, working with the proper people.
Yeah, but from the other side, Trump has all rights to challenge wherever he wants to challenge.
Yes, but he doesn't have the right to
misinformation, disinformation.
No, to not provide
definitely
the security information that the new team needs to be able to continue working on the transition.
100%.
If it doesn't go,
Jeffrey,
if he doesn't
100%. So and also with Biden, actually, today, I think yesterday, Bill Maher
I know, I watched it. It was great. Yeah.
He was actually talked about my book. Did you see it? He actually not about my book, but the ideas from my book. He said the same thing. Everybody now, I think the time.
Maybe my tweets to Bill Maher helped.
Yeah, but maybe not. He's a smart guy. Many people.
But just so you know, I sent a lot of stuff to him on Twitter and things like that to try to get him with the links to read your book and things like that.
I appreciate it. We will see.
But maybe it caught on.
My point is that smart people start looking at what is going on, and they understand that right ideas, not from the left and right. It has to be something in the middle, which all people, most people can agree on somehow. That's a job of politicians to make it happen. You cannot come and say, you do what I want you to do. That it will not work. And actually, it's not because of Trump. Obama also did many things like pushing to the left, and because of the left Congress, so they did a couple of things that I didn't like. But
look, every administration makes mistakes.
Yes.
Every administration makes mistakes. Not on the level of Trump necessarily.
No, this is a different level.
Basically, he's created a whole new way to do everything wrong.
And
we should think about it, because right now, just so you know, we were hoping to hold this to about 40-45 minutes. I think we're over already 45 minutes.
Okay, so let's.
So we should sort of wind down and decide where we want to go now. This next week is going to be very important. This is the week where a transition, from one administration to the other has to get started, even in a small way, but it must get started. So hopefully by, I believe the important date is November 20th, when they actually make it official. And then in the beginning of December, that's when when the Electoral College gets together, and then they stand it.
Also, like if you like thinking about supporting Trump, please don't go on the streets and fight other sides. Don't it all will be settled in court. All demonstration will not work. This is not. There is no political movement to put Trump back to his seat. It's been voted. So now it's courts and other things, other bodies who will decide. So please don't go and fight
and also remember that once Trump's out, and after a few months after he's out, that Trump memorabilia is going to be very valuable on eBay.
Yes. I don't know. So let me just like say something else. Now, when Biden wins, will be hard for him to do things that he offered to the left, like $10,000 for education, cutting education debts for students, and on a with illegal immigration, to recognize everybody path to the citizenship. If I will try to bring my book to Biden's people.
Yeah.
I think because I have all the solutions, so he doesn't have to look bad, because you don't have to give the pass to the citizenship, but I have a complete implementation of illegal immigration and stuff like that. On education level, it's much simpler also the answer.
I wonder if there's, because Harris is from California, I wonder if there's some way to send a copy of the book to Harris's,
or her husband, right?
Well, no, not so much about either, but to her office or something here. Just send the book and maybe show.
I will send many people. So, but my point is not just my book. I'm saying I have the solutions that they're working solutions. Otherwise, the Obamacare will not work. You need the bottom line for Obamacare. For any insurance, you need the bottom line. I don't want to take the time,
Okay.
so
We'll go through some of this next time.
Yeah.
So hopefully for our next episode, this, by the way, is episode 15. So we have a milestone here.
Oh my God!
So 15 episodes, and each
It's
one has
really
been
something.
running close to an hour. And so we've had a lot to say. It was an exciting time to be able to do these things. I hope we can continue this. You know.
And please subscribe.
We've known each other for so many years, but he was always, besides being a friend, he was basically my accountant. I had no idea he was this smart. So anyway, and then
15 years,
and then hopefully maybe on one of the next episodes I'll even bring a violin and we can talk about music and things like that, because I would love to be able to talk also from my side about the entertainment industry, and hopefully ways that the entertainment industry to become viable again, and people can work and people won't be unemployed, and maybe
and tweet us or just send messages what you want us to talk about. We want your participation. So if you want to talk about movie industries or entertainment industry, we will just bring people and we can just make it very entertaining.
Okay. Listen, we thank you very much for joining us for episode 15. Sasha,
Thank you.
great. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.